Burglary lawyer. How is burglary defined in New York? New York law defines burglary as the act of entering or remaining in a building with the intention of committing a crime. Being charged with burglary is a serious felony charge, and a conviction carries severe penalties and time in jail. What is burglary? It is a separate crime entirely from any action that happens inside the building once the individual is inside, so even if that person does not actually commit the intended crime, it is still an act of burglary. Consequently, if an individual commits burglary, there will most likely be other charges in addition to the burglary charges. The elements of a burglary. New York criminal courts take burglary charges seriously as a felony, and a conviction can result in substantial time behind bars as well as fines, parole and/or probation time. Burglary has specific elements that differentiate it from other crimes such as theft or breaking and entering. These are: the defendant entered the building or home without the consent of the owner and did not have permission to be there. The defendant entered the building or home with the intention of committing a crime, whether or not that crime was committed. Third-degree burglary. Burglary in the third degree is considered a Class D felony when the defendant has entered a home or building unlawfully for the express intent of committing a crime. If convicted, it is punishable by up to 7 years in jail. Second-degree burglary. Burglary in the second degree is a Class C violent felony when the defendant has entered a home or building and 1. Was armed with a weapon, or 2. An innocent individual was harmed. Burglary in the second degree, if convicted, can be sentenced from 3.5 to 15 years in jail. First-degree burglary. Burglary in the first degree is a Class B violent felony when the defendant has entered a home or building and 1. Was armed with a firearm. 2. Displayed what appeared to be a firearm. 3. Used or threatened to use a dangerous weapon. 4. Was in possession of burglary tools, or 5. Had caused physical harm to an innocent person. Burglary in the first degree can be sentenced to from 1 to 25 years in state prison. Because there are most often other charges in addition to a burglary charge, depending on what takes place inside the building, these additional charges will further impact evidence, guidelines, and sentencing. Which is the most serious type of burglary? In New York, burglary is categorized into 3 degrees, with first-degree burglary considered the most serious. Under New York Penal Law Section 140.30, first-degree burglary involves unlawfully entering or remaining in a dwelling, typically a home, with the intent to commit a crime. This degree of burglary is particularly serious due to elements of violence or the threat of violence. The law specifies several conditions that elevate a burglary to the first degree. These include the defendant being armed with explosives or a deadly weapon, which significantly increases the danger and potential harm to individuals. Additionally, if any physical injury is inflicted on another person during the burglary, or a dangerous instrument is used, the crime qualifies as first-degree burglary. Furthermore, displaying what appears to be a firearm or gun also falls under this category, emphasizing the severity and potential for violence associated with this crime. Why the quality of your defense is critical. If you have been charged with burglary in New York, the quality of your defense can have a critical impact on your outcome and may make the difference between a conviction, reduced charges, or even dropped charges. Having the right burglary lawyer means that the court will understand the full scope and facts of your situation, not just what is presented by the prosecution. When you have been charged with a crime, getting the skilled legal guidance of someone who understands not only criminal defense but also the prosecutor's process can be essential to your success. Jason Bassett, criminal attorney, is a talented burglary lawyer and former prosecutor who has over 20 years of experience in the criminal justice system. He aggressively defends his clients and brings his experience, skill, and insight to each case he defends. If you or a loved one has been charged with burglary in New York, contact the law offices of Jason Bassett, criminal attorney, at 631-259-6060 for a free consultation to discuss your case.